My name is Joe Byrne. I'm the Senior Technical Advisor for Postworks in New York, and we're looking at material illustrating the restoration of Alejandro Jodorowsky's The Holy Mountain. When we saw the match print that we got as a guide, it was sort of sad because so much of what this film is had been lost in the aging process. Color film, particularly, has a finite life. You have essentially two options for restoring those films. You could either try to retime the film in order to restore its original color balance, or you can scan the film digitally and take every color and treat it as a digital sample. Obviously, in the digital realm, you have a lot more flexibility and a lot more control. You're looking at the opening title sequence for The Holy Mountain, which was produced as an optical overlay. And unfortunately, what happened at the time that the optical was done is that there's a concatenation of grain structure upon grain structure that produces a moire effect in the tiles in the background. We were able to mitigate that somewhat by using digital noise reduction techniques in the restoration of the film. In the Isla scene, there's a tremendous amount of black in the scene, and it's photographed so that the background in the art direction is virtually one color. Separating the foreground and background in that scene, it hinges on a very delicate balance between very similar blacks than the way that they're recorded onto the original negative. By using digital restoration, we're actually able to qualify those blacks separately from each other and treat them differently and give them a different color temperature, which gives the scene a more three-dimensional quality. Much of the color correction process actually had to do with contrast. We were able to bring out of dark areas of the negative detail and contouring. So there's a lot more distinction between foreground and background in those scenes now than there ever had been. The entire process consisted of digital scans of the original negative, color correction of those scans under Mr. Jodorowsky's supervision, and Scott Olive, who was our colorist, was able to use the electronic and digital tools that we now have access to. And it was not only a matter of restoring, but in some cases actually photographing, particularly in the last two reels of the film. These are scenes that Mr. Jodorowsky was never happy with, and that using the wider range of control that we have in a digital restoration, we were able to give him back more of what he originally wanted to shoot. The Holy Mountain is a film shot in the 2-perf Techniscope format. Widescreen films are normally shot in anamorphic format, which uses a distorting lens that fills the entire 35mm aperture, a regular film aperture, which is kind of square. In the 1970s, for economy reasons, another format for widescreen was invented, which uses only 2 perforations of a 4-perforation frame. And this gives the same aspect ratio of a CinemaScope film, but uses half as much film. Widescreen as a format was invented essentially as a response to the popularity of television, which has a very square aspect ratio. It's a 4:3 frame. It occurred to presenters of films in the film studios that part of the experience of going to see the cinema had to do with its scale, and part of that scale was width. Widescreen as a format is more similar to a human being's wide field of view. When you use it to depict human beings in an environment, they seem somewhat more isolated and alienated from each other. And Jodorowsky uses it to describe a kind of an alienation of the character within this bizarre, iconoclastic, and mythological story. The premiere of the film will be on the beach at night at the 2006 Cannes Film Festival, and then the film will be then shown in the 2006 New York Film Festival.
Bravo! 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 Bravo!